Hi everyone, today I'm reviewing the movie Fantastic Four. Not the one from 2005, the one from last year, 2015. Um, it might be a little difficult for me because I did see a lot of reviews and I heard a lot of, rumors about how bad it was. I think it scored like a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's barely over 4 on IMDb. So that being said, I will say that I was expecting something much, much worse. I was expecting a complete disaster, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. Um, I kind of enjoyed it. It was very, very slow. To me, honestly, it seemed more like a Fantastic Four Origins movie than like a Fantastic Four movie. There wasn't really much action. There really wasn't anything going on. They didn't even show off their powers. I mean, at this point, I think everyone knows Fantastic Four. You have the Invisible Woman, you have the Human Torch, you have the Incredible Man, and you have the Thing, who's Rock, and that's it. And that's supposed to be like the main point of the Fantastic Four. Like they team up or they do their thing, and it's supposed to be like real exciting, adventurous, and you're supposed to show off all the powers. Um, and they didn't really do that in this movie. So I'll just get into it. So you start off and you have the Incredible Man as a kid and his friend Ben, and they are working together. They're maybe in fifth grade. I mean, they're barely over 10 years old, and this kid builds a transporter machine that like transports an object and brings whatever is at the other side of the transport back. All right, and he brings this in for show and tell, and the teacher just dismisses it, like I, right off the bat, completely like just pisses me off. I don't understand when they make the teachers or just adults in general completely oblivious to what's going on. Okay? You have this boy, literally 10 years old, who has built this. I'm not sure how, because he's 10 years old. Like, how long has he been working on this? Since kindergarten? I don't know. But all that, intellectual prowess aside, like I don't understand what's wrong with adults. Why can't they just say, "Oh wow, like that's actually something. I should investigate further." So he goes home and, they skip forward to whatever, maybe they're in like high school or something. And the two of them are still working together and they built another one. So we've gone from fifth grade to like sometime in high school. So at least 4 or 5 years. So that's what makes me question, how long did it take him to build the first one if it takes him 4 to 5 years just to improve on it? You know? So the timeline's a little off, and I think that's what a lot of people were complaining about, that they're so young. They were so young. And it doesn't make sense for kids, this age to be doing this type of stuff, this advanced scientific, mechanisms and stuff like that. So I hear what they're saying. I agree with that. And again, so they're at the science fair, and it performs better this time. And the judges of the science fair are like, yeah, this isn't a magic show. Get this shit out of here. Again, how about we investigate further and we look at what they're doing, even if it was a magic trick. It's a freaking awesome magic trick. So, let's try to find out what's going on. They shatter like the basketball, because it was held in the gymnasium. They shatter like the basketball backboard. How do you explain that? So, okay, so we're moving on past that. So then, these college recruiters, these college scientists, they find them at the science fair and they say, we'll give you a full scholarship to New York City if you come and help us out with this. Because we're trying to do the same thing. It's like, okay, great. So the both of them go to college. They end up meeting this scientist's daughter who was also helping him out. She ends up being the Invisible Woman. Spoilers. Um, so then the scientist's son, um, he's like a drag racing like hoodlum, and he crashes his car, and his dad's like, "You don't get your car back. You have to come work for me as a scientist." And he ends up being like a really, really good scientist. Which okay, that happens. Like, you're really, really good at something naturally and you don't want to do it, so you go do something else. Okay, fine. We'll add that into the story. So then the four of them are working on this thing, and they try to get the help of this Mr. Von Doom. Well, not even a Mister. He's a kid. He's like barely out of college, and so they're all kids. They're maybe like 20 years old, 21 years old. I don't know, and they're all working on this thing together. And then the college is like refusing to give them money. Like it's like a 2,500 square foot minimum like laboratory that they have going on, like very high tech equipment, like the entire thing. I don't understand. Like, you've put all this money into it already. You see what they've created, and you're gonna just cut funding? That's how it works? You just, oh yeah, that's great and everything. You're really close to like transporting to a new dimension, but nope, no funding. No funding for you. No. All right, great. Uh, so then, the four of them, they take it upon themselves. They're like, you know what? We're just gonna go. We're gonna go to this other dimension. So the four guys. So you have the scientist's son, you have Ben, you have the Incredible Man, child, whatever, and you have Von Doom. And the four of them travel to this other dimension, and they get to this world, and there's this like sparkly green stuff, and they touch it, and you're not supposed to touch it. So Von Doom falls in, and they leave him, and they have to leave. And as they're leaving, they have these like pods that they're traveling back in, and in one pod there's rocks, so that's how you get the thing. And in another pod, there's fire, and that's how you get the Human Torch. And in a third pod, I don't really know what there is, but it creates the Incredible Man. Maybe there's an elastic band or a silly putty. I don't know. And so they come back, and they crash, and the scientists, whatever, like the government picks them up, and so they're keeping them all in this like, I don't know, holding cell, Area 51, whatever. And so like, I don't know, the Incredible Man escapes because he's scared or whatever. So, like, years go by, like 3 years go by, and so they're using the thing as, like, a one-man wrecking ball, basically, for, like, the army, which, okay. Somehow the thing has, like, insurmountable strength, okay. He's 6'9" now, whereas the kid that previous to him was, like, I don't know, 5'5". So he grew, like, 1.5 feet. I guess it's the rocks make him taller. Okay. The Human Torch is like flying around, which I never understood in the first place. Like, why is he flying? Like, is he like heating the air underneath him to push him forward with the fire? I don't know. I don't understand. How can he fly? I never really got that. It's just like poosh, flew. Okay. And then the Invisible Woman is doing stuff. Because when they came back and they crashed, they hit her with some energy and she got invisibility. Which, again, how? I don't understand how that happened. I never really understand how they get the powers in the first place. So, these years go by, and you're not really seeing any of this. You're seeing it in, like, flashbacks. You're seeing it like, oh, they've traveled 3 years. Like, oh, let's see what has happened in the last 3 years. Let's remind everyone in the room that has probably been watching this the entire 3 years. Like, but we're actually just trying to show the viewers. Okay, that makes sense. Sure. So then they end up finding the Incredible Man. He's like, I don't know, 23 now. He's got like stubble on his face, barely more than what I have on mine. And so they're like, oh, we got to go get him. So they go and they kidnap him and they bring him back. And they're trying to say like, oh yeah, we have to like use you. We have to try and use you for the government. And all they want to do is just get their old lives back, right? They just want to, lose their powers and just get their old lives back. And the Human Torch isn't into it because he's having fun flying around, being on fire. The Thing is kind of into it, being like the government wrecking ball. But the Invisible Woman doesn't want to be, I don't know, invisible anymore. And the Incredible Man's over it. So they go back to this other dimension world thing. And, they don't. I'm sorry. There's a group of other scientists that go. And they're trying to, like, harvest the energy or whatever. And they find Von Doom. And he's just, like, metal, molten, whatever. He's been like fused to his spacesuit, and so they bring him back, and he's like all powerful because he has this energy in him. He has like cracks in his face and stuff like that. Um, so that's kind of that's it starts ramping up. It starts like getting exciting. Um, and then after that, he says, "Oh, I don't like this place. I really like being alone, so I'm going to go over to my old world. Oh, by the way, I'm going to make a connection so that the Earth is destroyed." Oh, okay. That's I don't think that's necessary. I think that you were perfectly fine over in your other world. You can go back, but you don't have to destroy our world. It's kind of a dick move, you know. So obviously, the other four people have to go and fight against him, and he's really really powerful. And as just one of them, they can't fight him, but as combined forces, they overcome him. Yeah, great. Yeah, we've seen that before. Cool. So they like push him into this Earth destroying beam, and he disintegrates, and they go back through the warp hole, whatever, and they get back, and the government's like, well, we still want to like use you, and they're like, no, we don't want that. We'll kill you if you do that. So they give them this like huge science lab out in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, oh, this is great. Like, oh, we should call ourselves something because we're a team now. Yeah. What should we call ourselves? And, the Human Torch is like, Torch and the Torchettes. Ha ha ha. I'm so self-centered. And finally, like, oh, we can't come up with anything. And the thing is like, oh, man, this is just fantastic. And Incredible Man's like, oh, what? What's that? Say that again. Fantastic? We should be the Fantastic Four. And then that's it. And then end of the movie. So like I said, it's kind of like just an origin movie. It's just, oh, here's how it came about. Here's how, Fantastic Four was created. This is kind of like the backstory of how they were created. But they're all like 20 years old, and they're like incredibly mad scientists and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I thought it was okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be an ultimate disaster. It wasn't that bad. There were moments. There were some moments, there was an action scene at the end that kind of, made up for it. It's good production value. I don't know. Anyway, do what you will.